When we think of notorious rulers, names like Nero, Genghis Khan, or Julius Caesar instantly come to mind. But what if I told you there were kings, queens, and emperors just as ruthless, cunning, and shocking whose names history has quietly buried in the shadows? These rulers shaped civilizations, commanded brutal armies, and left behind legacies of blood, scandal, and mystery. Yet most people have never even heard of them. Welcome back to Top 10 Facts Club. Today, we're diving into 10 of the most notorious ancient rulers you've probably never learned about in school. But once you hear their stories, you'll never forget them. So, let's get started. 10. The tyrant who roasted people alive, Phalaris of Acragas. Legend says Phalaris, who ruled the Greek city of Acragas in Sicily during the 6th century BC, commissioned one of the most gruesome torture devices in history, the Brazen Bull. According to legend, he had a life-size bronze bull built with a hollow interior. Prisoners were locked inside, and when fire was set beneath, the metal heated until the victims roasted alive, while the acoustics made their screams echo like the bellowing of an enraged bull. Phalaris was feared not only for his brutality, but also for his cunning. Despite this cruelty, he was praised for bringing order and prosperity to his city, which made his rule even more chilling. He could balance civilization with terror. Ironically, he was eventually overthrown and executed by being burned alive in the very bull he had commissioned. His reign proves that innovation, in the wrong hands, can become an instrument of horror. 9. The Mad Monarch of Madagascar, Queen Ranavalona I. In the 19th century, Madagascar was ruled by Queen Ranavalona I, one of the most ruthless monarchs you've never heard of. She ruled for 33 years and earned the nickname the Mad Monarch because of her cruel methods of maintaining power. Obsessed with preserving her sovereignty from European colonization, she waged war against foreign influence. She banned Christianity, executing missionaries and converts while also forcing her subjects into brutal labor projects. Her notorious Tangina ordeal was especially feared. Suspected criminals were forced to drink poison extracted from the Tangina nut. If they survived, they were considered innocent. If they died, they were guilty. Historians estimate that her policies directly or indirectly led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Malagasy people. She ruled with paranoia and bloodshed, yet her iron grip kept Madagascar independent, proving that sometimes cruelty itself becomes a shield against conquest. 8. The emperor who tried to erase Buddhism, Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou. Imagine an emperor so threatened by monks that he tried to erase Buddhism from his empire. Most Chinese emperors are remembered for building dynasties, but Emperor Wu of Northern Zhou, who ruled in the 6th century, is remembered for destruction. Unlike rulers who supported religion, Wu launched one of the most violent persecutions of Buddhism in Chinese history. Seeing Buddhist monasteries as a threat to his political authority, he ordered temples destroyed, scriptures burned, and monks forced to return to secular life. He stripped the Buddhist clergy of their power and seized their lands for the state. This crackdown was so severe that it nearly erased Buddhism from northern China. While he is less known today compared to other Chinese emperors, Wu's reign is remembered not for what he built, but for what he tried to burn out of existence. 7. The paranoid prince who became China's first emperor, King Zheng of Qin. You've probably heard of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, famous for building the Great Wall and his terracotta army. But before his legendary title, he was King Zheng of Qin, a ruthless warlord who consolidated power through endless bloodshed. Even as a young king, Zheng displayed shocking levels of paranoia and cruelty. He executed scholars who criticized him, buried dissenters alive, and destroyed historical texts to erase rival ideas. He centralized power in a way never before seen in China, crushing nobles and local leaders who resisted. His obsession with immortality even drove him to consume toxic mercury, which ironically led to his death. While his name as first emperor is remembered, few recall how notorious and feared he was in his earlier years as King Zheng, a ruler who would stop at nothing to unify China under his absolute rule. His obsession with absolute control laid the foundation for China's unification, but at the cost of cruelty that echoed for centuries. 6. Caligula's forgotten rival, King Herod Agrippa I. Most people know the biblical King Herod the Great, but far fewer know about his grandson, Herod Agrippa I, who ruled Judea in the 1st century AD under the shadow of the Roman Empire. He was both cunning and cruel, playing political games with Roman emperors like Caligula and Claudius to secure power. Herod Agrippa is remembered in Christian history for his persecution of early Christians. He ordered the execution of James, one of the apostles, and imprisoned Peter, only for Peter to miraculously escape. Agrippa's own death was equally dramatic. According to ancient sources, he suddenly collapsed during a public festival, and worms allegedly consumed his body as he died. While Rome and Judea had many rulers, Agrippa's combination of ruthlessness, ambition, and strange death sets him apart as a notorious figure largely forgotten outside of biblical scholarship.
Number 5.
The Poison King who outsmarted Rome, Mithridates VI of Pontus. Known as Mithridates the Great, this king of Pontus, in modern-day Turkey, was infamous for his obsession with poison. Fearing assassination, he regularly consumed small doses of various toxins to build immunity, a practice so legendary that the word Mithridatism still exists today. But he wasn't just eccentric, he was one of Rome's deadliest enemies. Leading the Mithridatic Wars against Rome, he orchestrated one of the most brutal massacres in ancient history, ordering the simultaneous slaughter of up to 80,000 Romans and Italians living in his territories in a single day. His ambition and cunning made him a thorn in Rome's side for decades. When he was finally betrayed by his own son, Mithridates attempted suicide by poison, but his lifelong immunity saved him. He had to be killed by a soldier instead, proving that even in death, the Poison King remained larger than life.
Number 4.
The queen who betrayed Britain, Cartimandua of the Brigantes. In the 1st century AD, while Rome was conquering Britain, one tribal queen chose infamy over freedom. Cartimandua, ruler of the Brigantes, betrayed her own people by handing over the rebel leader Caradicus to the Romans. While other tribes fought fiercely for independence, Cartimandua aligned herself with Rome for personal power. Her reign was also marked by scandal. She divorced her husband Venutius, who had fought alongside her, and took up with his armor-bearer instead. This betrayal sparked a civil war within her kingdom, turning the Brigantes into a chaotic battlefield. While the Romans supported her at first, she eventually lost power and disappeared from history. Today, she's remembered less for her leadership and more for treachery, a queen who chose betrayal over loyalty, securing her place as one of Britain's most notorious but forgotten rulers. 3. Rome's forgotten mad emperor, Elagabalus. Rome had its share of mad emperors, but Elagabalus takes eccentricity to shocking new levels. Rising to power as a teenager in the 3rd century AD, he became infamous for blending politics with outrageous behavior. He abandoned Roman traditions and instead promoted the worship of the sun god Elagabal, even marrying a Vestal virgin, a sacred act considered blasphemous. Elagabalus is said to have hosted lavish feasts where guests were smothered with rose petals, and he often dressed in women's clothing, scandalizing Roman society. His rule was short-lived. After only 4 years, his own guards assassinated him and threw his body into the Tiber River. While Nero and Caligula are remembered as Rome's most infamous emperors, Elagabalus's bizarre reign remains one of history's strangest forgotten stories.
Number 2.
The king who tried to kill Qin Shi Huang, King Zhao of Yan. Before China was unified, rival states battled constantly for supremacy. King Zhao of Yan is remembered for one desperate, notorious act, plotting the assassination of Qin Shi Huang. He sent his best assassin, Jing Ke, to kill the future emperor in a legendary attempt that nearly succeeded. Jing Ke presented Qin with a map concealing a dagger, but the emperor narrowly escaped. Zhao's plan failed, and Qin retaliated with overwhelming force, crushing Yan and executing Jing Ke. Though his kingdom was destroyed, King Zhao's daring plot remains one of the most famous failed assassinations in history. His story shows how desperate and notorious a ruler could become when facing unstoppable enemies, and how a single act of rebellion can echo for centuries. Zhao's plot failed, his kingdom was crushed, and his desperate gamble became a legendary tale of rebellion gone wrong. 1. The Terror of Byzantium, Emperor Basil the Bulgar Slayer. At the top of our list is Basil II of Byzantium, better known as the Bulgar Slayer, who ruled for nearly 50 years, waging relentless war against the Bulgarian Empire. After a decisive victory at the Battle of Kleidion, he captured 15,000 Bulgarian soldiers and ordered them all blinded, leaving just one man in every 100 with one eye to guide the others home. When the Bulgarian Tsar Samuel saw his mutilated army return, he reportedly collapsed and died of shock. This act of terror earned Basil his chilling title. Yet despite his brutality, he was also one of Byzantium's most effective emperors, expanding its power and leaving behind one of the strongest empires in medieval Europe. Basil II is a name largely unknown outside of Byzantine history, but his cruelty earned him the title Bulgar Slayer, proving that a ruler's cruelty can echo louder than his conquests. And there you have it, 10 of the most notorious ancient rulers you've probably never heard of. From the Poison King to the Mad Monarch, these leaders remind us that history is filled with hidden figures who were just as shocking, if not more, than the names we all recognize. Which one of these rulers shocked you the most? Was it the queen who poisoned her people, the emperor who blinded an entire army, or the tyrant with the brazen bull? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Top 10 Facts Club, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to uncover the forgotten and the unbelievable. Until next time, remember, history doesn't just belong to the famous. Sometimes the forgotten are the most terrifying of all.